Hi, and welcome to Noemica. Noemica helps you understand how users feel before they log in. What this means is, unlike other testing paradigms where you test the code for functionality or you test the LLM for consistency and effectiveness via evaluations, Noemica tests the user experience via personas interacting with your real system in a high throughput, high fidelity, but isolated manner, meaning that it will never be able to affect your database or any of your external services, and yet you can run this in parallel as much as you want. So what's essential to this is that the synthetic users represent the synthetic users or personas represent your real users. And this hinges on a very important discovery, which is that LLMs can very accurately represent real humans, or at least human profiles. There's a lot of research done here, and you're more than welcome to explore that yourself. But Noemica incorporates that research um, to ensure it delivers meaningful insights. So let's actually show you what that looks like. In this case, I have a series of target systems, and what these target systems are is basically whatever software system you might have. In my case, I've been playing around with Tax Hacker, Scanularity, and Demo Office Agent. Um, Scanularity was my first pilot user. Demo Office Agent, I just use it for demoing purposes. And Tax Hacker is an open source repository. This one. And what it is basically an accounting dashboard that enables you to track your expenses and track via uploading receipts. But what it does that's special is that it basically categorizes receipts off of an image, meaning that it reduces labor from you having to like manually type in the details. But it's not perfect. And so after I ran a batch of 22 runs, this was the outcome. And note, this is the report that's produced after the 22 runs. So it's not just any just random report. It is highly data driven. And it doesn't follow any of Nomica's opinions. It doesn't follow any of Tax Hacker's opinions. It is grounded entirely on the data it sees. So if we scroll down, you'll see that there are some insights that are quite easy to just like read through. And so here we have what didn't work. And here you see that there was an issue. There was an issue where Yuki tried uploading a grocery receipt and the AI extracted everything incorrectly, like currency, merchant, but the transaction could not be saved because the date field validated. Or, I mean, extract everything correctly and could not be saved because of some date validation issue. Okay, so you can look deeper into this, but before we leave this page, let me show you what you would normally see as the simulation is being run. And that's this view, where you can see how the like specific scenario where the persona lives performed, um, its status and its sentiment and its progress. You can see it here. It wasn't very happy, but they all seem to progress very well. Here it was kind of neutral. Here it was like it was the experience was decent, and so on and so forth. Okay, so going back to the issue at hand, if we click into this, what do we see? We see a summary of this whole session. Um, so they were impressed. The main snag was the transaction save flow, where the date field rejection rejected the inputs. Okay, cool. So maybe you want to dig even deeper. So here you have its internal thought, its intent, the series of steps it went through as it was interacting with the system, and finally, its reflection. And in here, it's probably where it communicates um, without any issues, except the data validation. This is where it communicated it. Now, if you still don't believe it, you can go over to your observability system. In my case, I'm using PostHog, and you can just observe the replay. So here you can see it's, well, it's kind of zoomed out a little bit. That's fine. you see it's trying to upload a document, it scrolls down, and it's kind of hesitating here. Like it's not able to really upload it. And so, yeah, you can see the replay of it trying to upload it. So if we go back and you actually look beyond just this single example of tax hacker, and we think bigger picture, you actually get meaningful strategic insights. This was just one small issue, but let's turn the tables onto what I delivered for Scanularity. And for Scanularity, we're going to jump straight into the report that was delivered. In this report, there was 21 different personas, different scenarios tested, and there was a couple of discoveries, but there was a very specific discovery that basically led to that could lead to a strong reaction in the direction that the founder would take the company, because the founder in this case believed their ideal customer profile was middle-aged women who have a long history with skincare routines but are middle to low income. But what Noemica discovered was that the product was actually systematically unable to deliver middle to low income skincare routines. That is a gigantic problem. If your product and your if your product and your ideal customer profile are systemically misaligned, your product is doomed to fail. And so Noemica was able to discover this and raise that to the founder. And just like before, you can go ahead and dig into each one of the scenarios to it each one of the sessions to learn how and where this insight is based off of. And you can see here it's based off of this budget minimalist issue. So yeah, that is Noemica. What does the onboarding look like? What does the process of getting Noemica running on your system look like? Well, first is just a discussion between you and me where I try to understand your system as thoroughly as possible and understand what users you're interested in exploring. And in particular, how these users interact with your system, and to see whether or not they're satisfied and happy with your system. So once that discussion is done, I basically go off and isolate your environment, and then run these sessions. And then finally, with all of that data gathered, I deliver a report, which which provides a highly detailed and highly parsable analysis of all of the data, so that you get like a high level strategic insights. And then in addition to that, just as a byproduct, it gives you very granular and detailed GitHub issues that enables you to solve problems without any effort at all. And so at the end of the day, Noemica enables you to ship features to your users that they're guaranteed to love before they even see them. It gives you confidence that whatever you ship doesn't just work, but that your users love it. If you're interested, feel free to head over to noemica.io, and I would love to chat.